Hey guys, can you tell the difference between this area of the lawn and this area of the lawn? Because last year I wanted to do a little test. I wanted to take some of that cheap seed from Canadian Tire and put it up against some of these elite cultivars and see if they really look any different. So gather around for story time, because I'm going to take you guys back 8 months ago and I'm going to show you exactly how I planted these grass seeds. I'm going to show you that I treated them all the same, apples to apples comparison, so you guys can see what they really look like 8 months later. Okay, so today we are going to be reseeding where the pool is with these 3 different seed types. I'm going to put them to the test against each other, side by side comparison. So this is where my daughter keeps her inflatable pool, and the base is almost 100% sand. So I'm going to run over it with the aerator a few times, try to break it up because it's so compacted right now. Then I'm going to go over it with a super light coating of just topsoil, throw the seed down, and I actually bought one of these straw blankets that I've seen like Ryan Orr use and stuff. I'm going to try to use this today just because I'm really concerned about washout, just because it's such a sandy base that I don't think peat moss is going to be enough to hold it down if we do get some rainfall. So I'm going to give that straw blanket a test today. First time I've ever used it, so I don't really know what to expect. But I'm going to put these seeds down, cover it with the seed blanket, and see what they turn out. So I finished running the aerator over it, and I wasn't expecting it to pull any cores because it's so sandy, but just basically cultivated the surface there, loosened it up. Now I do have some of this leftover soil from another project lawn that I just finished. So I'm going to throw this down on top, just give it some more nutrition, and then throw the seed down. So just going to use the Lansey leveling rake and just kind of give this a rough grade. I mean, I don't really care if it's perfect. You know, we're not sending it to the space station, so it doesn't have to be laser smooth. So now it's kind of leveled out. Just gonna run this leaf rake over it, just to create these little grooves for the seed to fall into. So I got it all raked up, all fluffed up. I'm going to throw down the Golf Green Nitro Grow from Canadian Tire. I know I harp on them all the time about crappy cultivars of grass seed, but I had this on hand and I figured I'd actually give it a side-by-side comparison to the Fireball Hat Trick and the Alpha Century. So I divided this plot up into 3 areas. The majority of this area is going to be planted with this seed, and I made 2 smaller plots that I'm going to plant the elite varieties to get a good side-by-side comparison. So I'm not going to measure this out. I'm just going to hand bomb it. And the directions on the bag here are actually not accurate. There's only 2 pounds of grass seed in here, and it says if you're doing overseeding that this 2-pound bag will cover 5,000 square feet. I'm telling you right now, 2 pounds of grass seed is not enough for 5,000 square feet. So I'm going to put this whole bag on this plot. And that's about the coverage I'm looking for a new lawn. You want to go down heavy, guys. You don't want to go light. You don't want to put all this work in only for it to come up thin and then you be upset. So now we're going to throw down the Alpha Century ryegrass in this little plot, and I'll throw down the Fireball and Hat Trick in this plot. So I got the Alpha Century from Stripe Seed Company. This is a 100% perennial ryegrass. This plot we are going to be using the Nightshift perennial ryegrass from Lawn Life. This is the Fireball and Hat Trick 50-50 blend. So this is also 100% perennial ryegrass. So this is going to be a good apples to apples comparison. So this next step is you want to lightly rake the seed into the soil. Now this is the step that most people either forget about or they just don't bother doing because they're lazy. But in my opinion, this is an absolute critical step. This only takes a few minutes to do, and by lightly raking the seed into the soil, you increase the seed to soil contact.
It takes an extra 5 minutes, and if you're going to spend all this time and money, you might as well just do this extra step. I also took some extra care, making sure not to cross-contaminate these plots.
So I got the seed all lightly raked in here. I'm gonna bust out the straw blanket, throw it down. This is just an insurance measure. I could put peat moss down, but I'm worried if we do get a heavy rainfall that this seed's just gonna wash away. I've never planted seed on such a sandy surface before, so I'm gonna be using the straw blanket just as a insurance measure. Now I got that on Amazon for like 50 bucks. I've never used it before, so hopefully it works well. So I staked down the straw blankets. I probably should have put the starter fertilizer on first, but whatever. I'm just gonna hand bomb some 1616 here just on top. Now we're just gonna water it 4 or 5 times a day for 2 weeks, and we'll see what it looks like.
All right, let's fast forward to September 4th. This is just 9 days after planting. If we take a look at these elite varieties, they're actually growing through the straw blanket. You can really see that they're doing way better than the Canadian tire grass seed that we have on the other side here. This stuff is so sparse and thin. I went ahead and removed the straw blanket today, which gives us a better side-by-side view. These elite seeds are sprouting much quicker and filling in quite nicely, while the Canadian tire seed is obviously struggling and looking super beta at this time. Okay, so if we jump ahead another 8 days to September 12th, this will be 17 days post-seeding. I started using this liquid starter fertilizer from GrowForge and applied it 3 times a day using this simple hose end sprayer to try to push some growth. You can clearly see that these elite varieties are outperforming the Canadian tire grass seed. It was also around this time that I decided to give it its first mow with this little web manual reel mower. I really like to use this thing. It's super light on the grass and it actually lays some pretty juicy stripes.
So just gave it its first cut today, and let's just do a little turf density check. Obviously the perennial ryegrasses, the elite versions are doing much better. This Canadian tire grass seed section here is very thin. So this Canadian tire area is obviously not doing well. This is going to need intervention. Luckily, a friend of mine did order the Dark Legend perennial ryegrass from Lawn Life. So I'm just gonna overseed just the area that I put this Canadian tire grass seed in to try to thicken it up, because I'm kind of running out of time here in Southern Ontario to get this thing established before winter comes. But I think what this experiment has shown so far is that when you do buy lower quality grass seed from big box, you can obviously see the dramatic difference between how these sections are doing and how this section is doing. Because when you buy inferior grass seed from big box, they're not selling you good genetics. They're selling you the grass seed that is the cheapest, quickest to manufacture, because they don't care whether or not your lawn project succeeds or not. They just care about sales. So when you buy these elite varieties, you're almost buying a level of insurance, knowing that these seeds have been tested, they've been quantifiably tested against drought tolerance, disease, establishment, color, and that this will always outperform anything from big box. And it just kind of annoys me that the deceptive marketing techniques of Scott's and some of these other brands, they just prey on people's ignorance of knowledge on grass types and grass seeds, and they just sell you stuff that is absolute garbage. You know, some of the seeds that they sell you is full of seed coating, fertilizers inside the seeds, and that just adds to the weight of the bag. So more often than not, you think that you're buying a 10-pound bag of grass seed when you buy the Scots. But if you actually read the label, it'll say 40% seed coating, 10% fertilizer. So out of that 10 bag, you're only getting 5 pounds of actual grass seed, and you're paying a premium for that. Something that I will hear from people is that, oh, these elite seeds, they must cost so much money. If you actually do the math on it per pound, these seeds are actually at par, if not cheaper than what you buy a big box. When you buy a big box, you're getting seed that has not been tested, that's been mass produced, and they don't care. They really don't care whether or not your grass is gonna look good. They just care about how can we keep this person on a perpetual cycle of crawling back to us, so then they keep on buying our seed year after year. When you buy these seeds, you get a certified tag showing there's no crop, no filler, no coating. You're buying 100% seed. So when you buy a 10-pound bag, you are getting 10 pounds of seed. People just don't know that there's other options out there. And that's why I'm so passionate about this, because everyone works so hard for their money, and I hate to see people go out and spend their hard-earned money on crappy seed, and then they're just trapped in this perpetual cycle of crawling back to big box year after year, buying another bag of seed, throwing it down, and just never being satisfied. That if you guys are looking to get some high quality grass seed, check out lawnlife.com. He ships to Canada now. So you get a 25-pound bag of grass seed for like $200 shipped, which is like $8 a pound. You go to big box store, you're paying like $12 to $15 a pound. The seeds down, I did go a little heavy-handed on it. I have a little bit of peat moss here, and I'm just gonna go over the areas that are the most bare. So there's a few benefits of using peat moss on top of your seed, not only for moisture control, as it helps to hold in the moisture during the germination process, but it's also a color indicator. When this stuff is wet, it turns dark brown, and when it's dry, it turns light brown. So it gives you a visual indicator whether or not it needs more water or less water, or some areas are light brown, some areas are dark brown. That's an indicator that your sprinklers aren't reaching a certain area. So if anybody has kids, that little strip on their diaper that turns dark blue when the diaper's wet, this is kind of like a diaper for the lawn. So on a side note, those straw blankets actually worked really, really well. I definitely would consider using those again in the future. They are a little bit of a cost. Like that roll was $50 off Amazon, and it covered like 200 square feet. So for big areas, it would be an added cost, but because this area here was almost 100% sand, I was really worried about washout, and I didn't think peat moss would be enough to hold the seed down in place. Luckily, we didn't get any rain, so I can't really comment on whether or not it actually held on to the seed better than peat moss, but it's just an insurance factor on the grass. So that's it for this. I will keep you posted on the updates of what this looks like in maybe another 2 weeks.
So we're going to jump forward another 8 days to September 20th. This is going to be 25 days post-seeding. I decided to let my lovely wife give it its first cut with the Allett to throw some courtesy stripes in before the fall. After this day, I basically just maintained this area with regular mowing and basic watering. I didn't throw down any more fertilizer and basically left this area alone till spring. But even after this mow, you can still see that these elite varieties are slightly darker and thicker than the Canadian Tire side.
So here we are 8 months later, and this Canadian Tire seed came in so bad and so thin that I ended up having to overseed it with the Nightshift Dark Legend anyways. Now I know that's going to skew the results a little bit, because at the end of the season, both of these plots were looking pretty decent, but that's where everything fell apart. So even despite my best efforts to try to remedy the Canadian Tire grass seed, it didn't fare well over the winter that we had. So if you guys live up here in Canada, you know the winter that we had this year. It was brutally cold, so much snow, and most of this Canadian Tire grass seed didn't end up surviving. And that's where this whole experiment starts to get very interesting, because once the snow melted and the warm weather was finally upon us, the differences between these plots started to become apparent. I documented the green up of each of these plots throughout the spring, and the Nightshift was the obvious winner. Even after the first couple of mows, you can clearly see how the superior genetics of the Nightshift and these elite seeds outperformed the Canadian Tire grass seed. So since the fall time, I haven't put down any fertilizer or any products on this plot. I want to keep it a true apples to apples comparison, so then you guys can see the difference between buying Canadian Tire grass seed and buying these elite cultivars. So the question is all the grass seed at Canadian Tire trash? And the answer is yes. Please stop buying them. Honestly, for the same price, if not cheaper, you guys could be buying these elite cultivars that are obviously outperforming anything that you can buy at Canadian Tire, Home Depot, Walmart, or any of these other big box stores. So if you guys are frugal like me and you're tired of throwing away your money and you want to get some better products, the link to the seed that I use is in the description below. I've been using this Nightshift for the past 3 years, and there's a reason why I get stopped all the time by people asking me, how do you get your lawn like that? It's because of the genetics. It's because the seeds are better. Stop buying stuff from big box. Start buying quality elite cultivars. Now, if you guys have found this video informative or helpful at all, please consider subscribing. I'm just a little YouTube channel up here in Canada, and it's super hard to compete against all these behemoths down south. So that will be it for this video. I will see you guys not on this lawn, on the new property with the new project that I'm about to start. So if you guys want to see how to bring a lawn from zero to hero, I'm about to start a massive project on a brand new property that we're about to move to in a few weeks. So if you guys are interested, please follow along for the journey. It's going to be wild. So I'll see you guys over there. Peace.